Browns fans got lots of questions. We got to get into the answers. Welcome into the Browns Report, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue. Major rumors have been going around with the Cleveland Browns lately, including Myles Garrett, some other big names. You're not going to want to miss what we have for you on today's show. So sit back, enjoy, grab a snack, and let's hop into some Cleveland Browns rumors, folks. First of all, Tone came in with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Tone. Said, bench Gabriel, please. And then gave me the classic Joey, oh. Appreciate that, Tone. Kind of with you at this point, honestly. Gabriel's numbers have been atrocious. And if it was a case of he was just playing like okay football, like middle of the pack, sure. But the numbers are literally the worst among all starting quarterbacks in the league. That includes his passing grade, according to PFF, 47.6. That's the worst. His completion percentage is 59.9. That's fourth worst. But what's ridiculous about that stat is his yards per attempt is 4.9, which is the worst. So he throws it shorter passes than any other quarterback in the league and still has the fourth worst completion percentage? We're still not completing the dink and dunks? I mean, it's bad. It's bad, Tone. And I don't think it could get any worse at this point. And I know I said that about Flacco, and it might have gotten worse. They're both different styles of terrible because Flacco turned it over 8 times. Yes, that's actually how many times he turned it over. Gabriel didn't turn it over until last Sunday, but he's had multiple turnover-worthy plays, and he just had a really awful pick against the Patriots, and then a second one, and then the safety in the end zone. You should have just been benched right after that. So we'll see what happens. After the bye, they're going to stick with Gabriel to play the Jets. But if you lose to the Jets or something like that, some numbers like that keep up, it's no excuse. Rose, $5 super chat. Clearly, a quarterback was not the biggest concern this season. This draft, we need to focus on O-line and wide receivers. I'm totally with you, Rose. I just made a video saying I want us to focus on getting O-line and wide receivers in the first round. I'm not ready to say let's go draft the quarterback in the first round. I want to see what Shedeur does when he gets out there. And clearly, the offensive tackles this year have been the biggest issue for the Cleveland Browns, specifically when Jack Conklin's hurt. And pass blocking has absolutely been atrocious for the Cleveland Browns as well. So, wide receivers, they've been ranked dead last in the league in many categories as well. Literally, ESPN ranked 98 wide receivers, and Judy was 98th, and Bond was 97. It was off. So, those are the two biggest issues that need. I'm absolutely with you, Rose. Cleveland, go ahead and get someone. Bring us Cardinal Tate. John Sears came in, said, how about we do this? We put Harold Fannin Jr. in as our wide receiver 1. I'll tell you what, he's big, athletic, and he's a reception machine. I think he'd flourish there. But he's flourishing at the tight end spot right now as well. Love what we're seeing from Harold Fannin Jr. I mean, he's really balling out as a rookie. And I think that if we get him more involved over the next few years, he'll be a name in Cleveland for years to come, especially depending on what they actually do with David Njoku. Are they going to trade him by the trade deadline? Are they not going to sign him in free agency? Try to get a comp pick. I don't even know if we'll have enough free agents leave for that, but we'll see. So, Fannin will be in Cleveland for a long time to come. And, hey, they do put him at a lot of different positions. They line him up at fullback, put him out wide once. I'm down for that, John Sears. I'm down for that. Next up, we got Ruben Vasquez. Do you think Shedeur can be better than all quarterbacks in the upcoming draft? Hashtag Browns. What a question here. I mean, right now, some of the highest quarterback prospects are Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza. Before the year, everyone thought it would be Arch Manning, Drew Aller. The big-name quarterbacks have played awful this year in college football. So now you're going with someone that probably was projected lower before the season, but things developed differently. I would love to say he could. I was high on Shedeur last draft. All the experts were. I think he's the best quarterback in our room right now. We just haven't seen him play. We haven't even seen him get reps with the first teamers. So we have to see him out there field action. But you know what? I think he can be better than the quarterbacks coming out of this draft. And if Dante Moore's the best one, a guy that was Dillon Gabriel's backup at one point, another Oregon quarterback, let's see Shedeur before I make a decision on what quarterback to draft if we are going to get one. I do like that they're bigger quarterbacks, though, because that is a knock on Gabriel right now. Next up, Hashtag Browns trade David Njoku and Jerome Ford for Garrett Wilson. Oh, I'm in on that. I'm all in on that. I love Garrett Wilson's game, not only because he's an Ohio State Buckeye, but he's a super talent wide receiver. I mean, he's one of those guys that has production with whoever's at quarterback. Justin Fields is at quarterback right now, and he's putting up numbers. He's also got one of the best catches I've ever seen. Prime time, back of the end zone. It was a one-hander. He's a freak. He's an athletic supernatural. I would love him on my football team. And it'd be another Ohio State Buckeye, which has turned into wide receiver university lately. Bring me Garrett Wilson, whatever it takes. I don't think the Jets are going to move him, though. That would be really bad for them, and they'd take on so much dead money. Makes no sense. They're not going to do the deal this year. But in a year or two, stay tuned, Zeno. Mike Hawk Jr. Are the Browns seriously considering trading Myles Garrett? Hashtag Browns. I don't think they are. But ESPN put out reports today, Jeremy Fowler specifically, saying that this was on the table, saying that he would not be surprised if the Browns actually moved Garrett before the deadline, specifically because of the emotions. And he said, I don't think it's out of the question that the Browns could trade Garrett, even this week, if he really wanted out. If someone came offering the Browns, say, 2 first-round picks, and Garrett, who has a no-trade clause and could therefore veto a deal, really wanted out, it would probably be worth considering. Let's say, totally hypothetical, like the Cowboys or the Los Angeles Rams offered both of the 2026 first-round picks they have as a result of prior trades. Cleveland would be looking at the possibility of having 4 first-round selections in the 2026 draft. The Browns would be able to completely control round 1 and come out of it with whichever quarterback they wanted. The acquiring team would have to pay Garrett a fairly reasonable $31.5 million in fully guaranteed money in 2026 and about $30.5 million in 2027. I mean, that idea of us having 4 firsts, if it was a team like the Cowboys or Rams, and I absolutely think both of those teams would make that offer, specifically the Rams, who are really in contention in the NFC, and they're looking like a top 10 team in football. But from the Browns side, I think there's no way they're considering this. Not at all. If the phone rings and you get a mega offer, different story. But right now, as Adam Schefter tells us, there's no chance. He even said that there's a better chance that you win the lottery than the Browns deal Garrett. What do you think? Should the Browns really consider this? Should you consider dealing Myles Garrett to stockpile for the future? I think there's an argument from the fans to be like, well, yeah, we're rebuilding. We could really do this thing up. But he is more than a generational player. And the more you have that guy in Cleveland, the more you're going to have an actual chance to win and contend. And our defense is playing like one of the best in the league. We just have to fix the offense. We'd be so good. With this defense if we had any sort of offense. So don't trade 95 just yet. And I don't think they will. Coming up, we got more questions to answer for you Browns fans, so you're going to want to stick around. Do not go anywhere. But first, I am super excited to tell you this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. The Cleveland Browns get to rest up, enjoy the bye, and so I am big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks, and I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. And Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. That's good. And Bryce Young is the first player in my lineup. More than half a passing touchdown. C.J. Stroud, also more than half a passing touchdown. And Josh Allen, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Chiefs. That game is going to have some bright lights on it. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Joshua Miller 6740. Other than the Browns, who would the dog pound like to win the Super Bowl? Oh, that's an interesting question. I guess I haven't thought about that from the Browns' perspective. Well, it wouldn't be an AFC team, right? Probably be someone in the NFC. Absolutely no one in our division. That goes without saying. Other than the Browns, who would the dog pound like to win the Super Bowl? I think we're also wouldn't want to see the Bucs win it, just because if Baker won a Super Bowl, we'd all be, we might all quit the team. Like that would just be a blow. And now you would probably say the same about the Texans, right? If Nick Chubb won one, although we do love Nick Chubb, so maybe we wouldn't be as mad if he won that. I think it'd have to be an absolute random team with no connection to the Browns, like some like Reed saying Seattle Seahawks. I mean, you could say like the Lions. You know what? That would be the pick because the Lions are also 0-16 at one point. We shared that with them. I think it'd be cool to see another team who was just as bad be just as good, and then it gives us hope that we can do that next season. Let's go with Detroit. Good question, Joshua Miller. Christopher, what difference will offense get with different play caller? Your prediction, please. Well, I think, funny enough, Stefanski said he is looking at that. He was asked if he's going to give up play calling, and he was like, we're going to look at all things in the bye week, and that includes play calling. So would it get better? I don't know if it'd be much better, but Stefanski's has been so bad, and his specifically doesn't work with the players we have on offense. So I think first week, if we came out of the bye and said, Tommy Rees is calling plays against the Jets, I think it'd be electric. The Jets suck. You catch them off guard. In that first week, week 10, with Rees calling the plays, would probably look like a spark. That usually happens when you start a new quarterback or have a new play caller or something like that. So I think it'd be a little better. And Stefanski's plays, he loves play action. He loves two tight ends. He loves things that take long to develop. And when we don't have that, it's a lot of short plays that he's also calling and that Gabriel's throwing. I think Rees would bring a little bit more juice, take a little bit more deep shots. They said they want to get Jerry Jeudy more involved too. Well, Judy's got to catch the ball, but he is our number one. Catch him on a post. Go a little deeper. I'm down. Tim Green. The reason Dillon keeps starting is because him and Kevin Stefanski share the same agent that offers them incentives. That's why Shedeur isn't starting. Tim, I brought this up in my video on Wednesday. Go watch that if you guys haven't yet, but there's truth to that. Coaches under CAA, the agency that reps Kevin Stefanski, has a rep that reps Andrew Berry, also are agents of Dan Lanning, Brant Venables, and Gus Malzahn. 3 of these coaches, Dillon Gabriel played for. It's no coincidence, folks. The CAA influence in Cleveland is similar to Athletes First in Chicago. Jimmy Sexton, who declined to comment for the story, has represented the past 2 Browns head coaches, Freddie Kitchens and Kevin Stefanski, and another CAA agent represents Andrew Berry, like I said. To your point, Tim, same coaches that repped Dillon Gabriel, coaches, I should say. So, kind of fishy. Look, I don't know if that's necessarily fishy, but it is that the fact that they clearly favor Dillon Gabriel. They clearly drafted him over Shedeur and gave him all the opportunities that Shedeur hasn't gotten yet. They really want him to be the guy, and it's just not been the case through 4 weeks. Maybe the agency tie had a little bit to do with that. Put Shedeur in soon, though. Next up, we have It's Dallas. I have an Underdog Kevin Stefanski replacement that not a lot of people are talking about. How do you feel about Klint Kubiak coming in and being the next head coach if we fired Stefanski? I mean, Kubiak has had his up and downs is the issue there. I think a lot of these coordinators have had ups and downs too. Like another name people talk about a lot is Cliff Kingsbury, right? Who's doing a great job as an offensive coordinator in Washington, but he was awful as a head coach. And similarly, Kubiak had an awful tenure. What was it with the Saints? It was the Saints. So I don't know that it'd be much better for the Browns, and I think we'd be calling for him to be out soon, just like we probably would if we got another coordinator who was bad as a head coach. However, I do like the fact of thinking offensive-minded, and if we can go out get a guy who's offensive minded. I might be a little bit more in on that. And we keep Jim Schwartz, run the defense. Also, bring in John Gruden. That's a name I'm starting to see. He grew up a Cleveland guy. Bring me John Gruden. Cool guy. What's going on, cool guy? Given how the season's going, do you think the Browns may genuinely stick with Stefanski once the season's over? Well, I'll tell you what, cool guy. A lot of people calling for this firing to happen midseason. That seems unlikely. Jimmy Haslam said Stefanski's done a good job. I don't know what Haslam's watched, but he did make the point that he was dealt a bad hand with the Watson deal. And they're going to ride out Stefanski for the rest of the year. If the season is awful, I would not be on board with bringing back Kevin Stefanski in 2026. If the rest of this year looks like the first half of this year, with our easier schedule in the back half, fire the head coach. Haslam doesn't seem like he's budging on that yet. Barry neither. There's a lot of miscommunication between the owner, the GM, and the coach. They're all on different pages. But I would not bring him back if we have a bad season. If we're under 5 wins at the end of the year, I've seen enough. Next up, we got Draco. I only trust what I hear about the Browns from you guys. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. And, you know, a lot of people maybe don't see it, but we do research really hard here. And, you know, there's a lot of work, a lot of long days to put in for a couple 10-minute videos. But we're here hours on end, longer than a traditional job usually. But we love doing it because we love you guys. I love doing it because I love the Cleveland Browns. Get to talk about my favorite team. We're constantly diving in. So I really appreciate you coming on here and saying that, man. It is nice to hear. And we're going to try to do our best for you, give you the best Browns news out there on YouTube. So glad you are here and subscribed. Everybody else, join the party and hit that sub button. You can also go on over to X, follow me at JoeyO70. If you have more questions straight up for me, I'm always answering on X/Twitter because I got less people over there. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be a part of the Browns Report family and get the news that you can trust. We're here for you. We thank you guys. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you next time here on the Browns Report.